Hello, and welcome to another episode of County Perspective, the show that focuses on Frederick County government, local programs and events, and the community that you live in. I'm your host, Brandon Rosa, and thank you for joining us. Let's jump right into our top news stories. Frederick County's agriculture industry is creating value-added products and services to ensure the industry thrives into the future. To support their efforts, Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner and County Council President MC Keegan-Air announced $198,000 in agriculture innovation grants to 10 farming operations. The competitive grant program, which began earlier this year, provides funds twice a year to encourage diversification and innovation. Funds may be used for research and development, production buildings, major fixtures, or processing facilities. To be eligible, applicants must be a crop or livestock producer, a value-added producer, an agricultural cooperative, a seafood processor, or a primary or secondary timber products processor. Information on the program is available by contacting Katie Stevens, Associate Director of Agricultural Business Development, at 301-600-3037. Here's a short video on how the agriculture grant helped the Prai family.
So I know that you're a recipient of one of our first round of grants. So can you share what you're using that grant for and what that means to you?
Absolutely. So since 1955, we've been raising beef cattle for sale. We've been selling by the half or a whole animal or by the quarter. What we have now is an opportunity to sell beef by the cut. We've been fielding phone calls for years. People would say, can I come and buy just 20 pounds of hamburger and a couple of steaks or a roast? We really weren't in a position to do anything to help those people. We would send them somewhere else. So at this point, this is a whole income stream for the farm that we didn't have before. We're so blessed to have this freezer and building here behind us with this grant money, because we never would have been able to purchase this on our own.
I think one of the things that's come out of the pandemic is people want to know where their foods come from.
Absolutely.
And so if people can buy local food, first of all, it's better.
Right.
And
right.
It's a much better quality food and has much better taste. But people want to know where it came from, and I think there's a real market for it.
We've been working really hard for a lot of years to give tenderness and high genetic quality, marbling of the meat, and things of this nature. And we don't add any hormones or antibiotics. Everything is all natural. We raise our own crops. All the crops you see here on the farm, most of these crops will go right into our animals. Food's grown here, and when they leave here, you know where it's come from.
It seems like what is a relative small investment coming from county government can really make a big difference to make that happen.
This is true, yes.
Will you give us feedback on how it works maybe in a year?
Yes, ma'am, we will give you feedback.
Be glad to.
What a blessing it was to get this grant.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
The Frederick County Sustainability Awards recognize individuals and organizations in Frederick County that have made an outstanding contribution in helping the county advance sustainability efforts. Awards are based on demonstrated leadership, innovation, and success in sustainability. Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner and the Frederick County Sustainability Commission presented the awards to individuals and organizations in the community. This year, the awards are being presented for 2020 and 2021. The 2020 winners are Key City Compost, Joyce Tutton; Habitat for Humanity, Restore, Ember Carrera. The 2021 winners are District Farms, Lawrence Jake Romanell; Frederick Arts Council's Sky Stage, Jordan Hayrend. More information about the Frederick County Sustainability Commission can be found at frederickcountymd.gov/FCSC. In 2019, Kite Farmer announced plans to build a new biologics manufacturing facility in Frederick County. the California-based company develops innovative cancer immunotherapies. Kite Pharma will use its Frederick location to produce cell therapies for people with cancer. This month, Kite held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the newly built facility on a 20-acre site in the Urbana Corporate Center.
We're happy to have you here. We're happy to have the 150 jobs that exist today and the 400 jobs that will be here by the end of 2023, and what that provides to our community. But I'm really proud of the work that you do to make a difference to people and patients in cancer. It would be very exciting to me if the cure for cancer could be found right here at this facility in Frederick County. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Each year, the Office of Economic Development thanks businesses like Kite for choosing to operate in Frederick County. This year's Business Appreciation Week will kick off on October 25th. The Economic Development staff and partners will meet with local businesses to learn more about the business and to personally thank them for their contributions to the Frederick County economy. For more information on Business Appreciation Week, visit discoverfrederickmd.com. Domestic violence is something that many individuals endure. It happens between spouses, couples that are dating, and even with children and family members. Sometimes individuals are so confused and scared that domestic violence often goes unreported. Frederick County is taking action to help victims and to stop the violence. County Council member Jessica Fitzwater tells us more about domestic violence in our community.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In Frederick County, domestic violence affects people all across our community. The Domestic Violence Coordinating Council is Frederick County's newest board and commission, and I'm so excited that we've begun the hard work of collaborating among a diverse group of stakeholders to see how we can continue to educate the community with the hope of preventing and ultimately ending domestic violence in our community. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the Hartley House saw over a 50% increase in the number of clients served from 2019 to 2020, so we know that this issue is continuing to hit our families hard. The Domestic Violence Coordinating Council is made up of a diverse group of members, all committed to working on this critical issue.
Domestic violence, also called intimate partner violence, is any pattern of behavior that is used to control and abuse a spouse, an intimate partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. It's not only physical abuse, although many of us feel that way. It's also emotional abuse and verbal abuse, financial abuse, isolation from friends and family, thereby controlling all the movements and actions of the victim. The idea about domestic violence, the point of it is to control another person.
Domestic violence is a crime. Nobody is allowed to hit you, kick you, shove you, or harm you in any way, including your spouse. At the Frederick Police Department, our goals are to hold the offenders accountable through the criminal justice system, to promote the victim's safety and recovery from crime, and to prevent domestic violence. The Victim Services Unit supports those goals by working with victims to link them with resources to meet their specific needs, including emergency shelter, counseling services, free legal assistance, and more. When it comes to domestic abuse, it's easy to think there's no way out. But we want you to know there is help. There is a way out.
During Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it's important to recognize that children are often the hidden victims of domestic violence. It is estimated that more than 15 million children in the United States are exposed to domestic violence each year. Children who are exposed to domestic violence may endure the same stressors as children who are exposed to other traumatic events. The CDC reports that up to 45 to 60% of children who have been exposed to violence in their homes have occurring child abuse. Our community is here to help. You are not alone.
As a prosecutor, it's my job to fight for justice for victims of crime and ensure accountability for perpetrators. But the job of a prosecutor isn't one that just occurs in a courtroom. And as such, I've become involved in the community fight against domestic violence. And as the recently elected chair of the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council, I know that to effectively combat domestic violence, we need an all-hands-on-deck approach. That means not only criminal accountability for offenders, but increased prevention, community engagement, education, and resources for victims, perpetrators, and their families. And these are things that we know that we can only accomplish together as a multi-agency domestic violence coordinating council, engaging agencies and community. And as such, we've recently adopted our mission statement at the DVCC. And the mission is that the DVCC exists to promote and facilitate an effective, trauma-informed community response to domestic violence, and to increase collaboration and communication between government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and community stakeholders in order to maximize resources to address, prevent, and ultimately eliminate domestic violence in Frederick County.
On October 26th, Hartley House and the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council are co-sponsoring a webinar event to discuss the history of the domestic violence movement. We're going to go back a long way in time to BC, and we're going to bring it all the way up to date to 2021. It's at 7 p.m. on October 26th. It is free registration, and it's all virtual. You can register at our site at hartleyhouse.org. If you're seeing this video after October 26th, please check out our site, hartleyhouse.org, to view a recording.
And now I will read a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas, domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all races, ages, genders, and income levels. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 14 men will experience intimate partner violence in their lifetime. The effects of violence reach far beyond its victims and perpetrators, causing disruption in schools, places of worship, workplace, and neighborhoods. And whereas Frederick County remains dedicated to eradicating domestic violence and helping victims and survivors find the compassion, comfort, and healing they need. And whereas during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we underscore the county's commitment to ending domestic violence and ensuring that victims find the professional support they need. We also commend the many organizations and individuals in our community, both professional and volunteer, who provide critical advocacy, services, and assistance to victims and survivors of domestic violence 24 hours a day. And whereas Hartley House, for example, has provided comprehensive services to victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse in the Frederick community since 1979, we encourage our citizens to learn more about the services Hartley House offers and to use these services to prevent further abuse and violence. Now, therefore, on behalf of the County Executive of Frederick County, Maryland, we hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Frederick County, and we do commend this observance to all of our citizens. Signed on behalf of Frederick County, Maryland by County Executive Jan Gardner, presented this first day of October 2021.
We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more County Perspective. Welcome back to County Perspective. I'm your host, Brandon Rosa. Now, in just a few moments, we'll take a look at pumpkins in Frederick County, but before we do that, let's see who this episode's Pet of the Week is.
Honey is a big girl with a personality that is just as big. She loves attention and rushes to meet any visitor. Despite her size, Honey moves quickly and loves play. She can't get enough of the laser pointer. The fact that Honey loves play is great because she needs the exercise along with her diet to help her get back to a healthy weight. Brushing is also one of Honey's favorite activities, and her new family will need to assist her with grooming until she loses enough weight to do it all on her own again. To learn more about Honey and our adoption process, call Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center at 301-600-1546.
It is that time of year when the leaves start falling, the temperatures start getting cooler, and it's time for trick-or-treating and Halloween. But don't forget about grabbing a pumpkin. Agriculture plays a big role in Frederick County's economy, and there are plenty of farms to choose from that have thousands of pumpkins for you and your family to pick from. Watch this video to find out more about the many pumpkin patches in our area. Agriculture in Frederick County, Maryland plays a major role for the local economy.
Agriculture is a large piece of our county. It produces over $153 million in revenue to the farmers every year. And we're kind of leading the state. We have the largest amount of land mass in agriculture production in the state at 181,000 acres.
Corn and soybeans are the most produced crop in Frederick County year-round. But as the season changes to fall, farmers in the county begin to rely on a crop that is orange and round, pumpkins.
Pumpkins are a growing industry here in the county. They kind of led the way into the agritourism piece. You know, we have 10 farms that are really kind of the large-scale pumpkin patch operation in agritourism. In the state of Maryland, we have about 800 acres of pumpkins around the whole state. Now, I would say we probably have about over 100 in Frederick County alone.
Farmers in Frederick County wanted to diversify what they grew, so they decided to grow pumpkins to fit everyone's needs. But the farmers' first batch of pumpkins is no comparison to what they produce now.
Jumbo's was actually the first pumpkin patch in Frederick County. We established in 1994. We started with a roadside stand out in front of the farm on one wagon.
We had started doing pumpkin sales out of our front yard after my brother Greg had a bumper crop of pumpkins for his 4-H project. He started selling them at a self-serve stand out of our front yard, and it grew.
As the time comes closer to Halloween, family and friends head to the pumpkin patches to hunt for pumpkins. But the pumpkins don't just pop out of the ground a few weeks before Halloween.
These got planted a little late this year because of the weather we had in the spring. I believe it was about mid-June.
We have 29 acres of pumpkins this year, and we plant those around Father's Day weekend.
Large pumpkin patch operators spend almost 2 days planting thousands of pumpkin seeds. Once the seeds are planted, farmers put a lot of energy into maintaining the pumpkins through the growing process.
Once the plant pops off, after a while the vines will start to run and the flower will come out. It takes bees to pollinate them, so that's very crucial. They're really prone to getting powdery mildew and all kinds of funguses. Bugs love to eat them and give them disease also.
Before farmers begin to plant the pumpkin seeds, they prefer rotating the crops.
One of the biggest things that we do for our weed control is crop rotation. So we try to not do back-to-back crops of any one crop. We will maybe rotate from corn to soybeans to pumpkins, and rotating through those crops helps to clean up the field.
The 10 large pumpkin patches in Frederick County provide visitors with more than enough colorful pumpkins, but that's not all the pumpkin patches provide.
Our farm has the largest corn maze in Maryland. It's 35 acres and 8.2 miles of trails. We have pumpkin cannons, and we raise our pumpkins in our patch to shoot from our cannons, and we shoot through about 40 crates a year, which is about 8,000 pumpkins.
Picking pumpkins in Frederick County isn't just a holiday tradition for locals, but it is something many families look forward to.
I definitely think our customers return because of the family atmosphere. I'm one of 16 that helps put this operation on. Every one of us makes the families feel welcome.
Soon after the end of Halloween, the below freezing temperatures will conclude the pumpkin's life cycle. But Frederick County pumpkin patch operators say they will strive to bring pumpkins back for next year and many years to come.
This is our 3rd year on our own, and by far the trickiest weather-wise. For the future, we hope to now control the weeds a little more of our pumpkin patch. Even though we were able to figure out the disease and grow a beautiful pumpkin, we want visitors to really have a good experience.
In terms of future growth, we want to maintain a family atmosphere, competitive pricing. We don't want to get too commercialized.
I think it's going to be a long time in the future. You know, pumpkins, you know, everybody loves pumpkins, and you know, now you see pumpkin everything everywhere you go.
Fall is here, and there are plenty of activities and programs going on in the community. Frederick County has a variety of activities for all ages to keep you engaged. Check out some of the great programs that county departments are offering. find more virtual events and programs or for more information, log on to the county's webpage, frederickcountymd.gov. Now at the end of our show, we like to mention a few recent events along with things our viewers should keep an eye out for in the upcoming weeks. If you are a senior citizen and would like to know more about Medicare, well, the Senior Services Division is offering open enrollment for virtual do-it-yourself Medicare seminars. To register for free, email Virtual Senior Center at frederickcountymd.gov. Participants can ask questions about their Medicare Part D plan or how to find a new Medicare Part D plan. Enrollment begins on October 19th and ends December 2nd. If you are a Frederick County resident and you want to get a permit for alterations to your home, such as basement finishes, decks, porches, sheds, swimming pools, solar panels, and more, now you can submit your permit on your smartphone or computer by going to frederickcountymd.gov/expedited-permits. Residents no longer have to go to the permitting office to do so. The Citizens Permitting Portal is available 24/7, 7 days a week, and permits will be issued in less than 24 hours. This is a fast and easy way for residents to submit their permits. Well, that's it for this episode of County Perspective, but don't forget to follow Frederick County on social media in order to keep up to date on important news and events. We'll see you next time for a fresh look from a county perspective.